Today in Nalta Explores podcast, we talk about VMware. Well known for their virtualization solutions, the company, now part of Dell EMC family, is so much more. They offer solutions to virtualize the data center and make it public cloud ready. How can VMware help us with the future of the data center? Why is it important to be part of the Dell family? And what are the next big things to happen? Our special guests today are David Cairns, Senior Manager at Dell EMC for HCI Solutions EMEA at VMware, and I think he got that title on purpose. And Remco Donkers, Hyper-Converged Infrastructure Specialist at VMware for the Benelux. Thank you for being in our podcast, guys.
Pleasure. Good afternoon.
Great to be here.
This is your first podcast?
First podcast.
Okay, very, very cool. David, could you please start with introducing yourself?
Sure, thank you. So my name's David Cairns. I work for VMware. I'm responsible for the hyperconverged solutions that VMware sells through Dell EMC across EMEA. I've been at VMware nearly 9 years, and before that I was at Dell for 12 years.
And why this extremely long title?
It's probably thought up by an American person and not by me. And like I said, the outcome of my business is that we sell software to customers. So maybe that's a better title.
That makes it a lot easier. And Remco, thanks for joining in. We know each other for 10 years or so?
No longer. It's, I think, almost 14 years. It goes way back to the Dell.
Well, we
time.
still got hair.
Yeah, at least no gray hair. Yeah.
So could you tell us what your role is within VMware?
I work at VMware as a HCI specialist for the Benelux and work closely with Dell to actually bring VMware and Dell better together in the program and make sure that our technology works really well on their equipment and also on their VxRails they have at this stage.
And the funny thing is you both worked for Dell before, right?
Correct, yep.
Yeah.
And both in a sales role?
Correct, yep.
Pre-sales, yeah.
And Remco, I think that was 12 years ago, 13 years ago. We just started with our collaboration or partnership with Dell. And we did one of the first Nalta Dell partnered solutions, right? Services deals.
Yeah, that was very successful. And we want to continue on that. But you did very well in the last 12 years. I watched you and your company grow really well.
Thank you.
And I think Dell did even,
their pace was a little bit higher. Yeah.
But it's really great to have an IT career and work for companies which are growing. I mean, it's a bless.
So today we're going to talk about VMware and their path from being a virtualization expert to actually the company for a virtualized software central data center. Could you both, to start with you, David, to give us a high-level overview of what VMware is today?
Sure. VMware today has evolved a lot since I joined in 2010. And I think that journey started even before then. But we've diversified what we do now to be so much wider than just virtualization. So, we're helping customers harness the power of the public cloud. We're helping customers realize, consistent operations, if it's security, if it's storage, if it's networking. So much more than just virtualization. So we really want to go on a journey with those customers and help them harness the technology that is developed by the full ecosystem around VMware, not just us as a software company.
For you, Remco, in day-to-day business, do you actually experience that the customers know that VMware has so much more to offer?
Most customers are aware what we're doing and the journey we're making. But we also have still customers who see us as a virtualization company. We like to meet those customers and explain how we did grow in the last 10 years from ESX to a complete company, which is now connecting to the cloud.
ESX, yeah, it was 3.5 when we stepped in and a long, long time ago. So there is so much more. What's for your company the most important part of that business that makes it future ready?
Wow. I think we have to look at the cloud as the biggest opportunity. So I think somebody said very famously that the cloud is not a destination, it's an operating model. And I think VMware recognizes that very strongly. And I think lots of customers want to get there like it is a destination. But I think the important point is that unless you have control over things like the security, the compliance and governance around whatever your business is, and certainly, the cost, then the operational model that is cloud is very difficult to embrace. So I think, for VMware, we have to be ready to help customers harness that as a powerful operating model, but also to really understand how to drive the same kind of value with what they have in their IT operation on premises, so what they do. So if you think about kind of the best of both worlds, that's what we're talking about. It's a hybrid model. And I think that's, if VMware can succeed in telling that story, then we've done a good job.
So you really could say that VMware and the cloud are a marriage made in heaven.
Yes.
We're probably engaged and we'd like to get married. Yeah. So.
I fired this question to the CTO of Dell Boomi and asked him, is Dell Boomi and IoT a marriage made in heaven? He had to really laugh as well. Sometimes technologies just work perfectly together. That's basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I think there's examples of that. So, Dell Technologies, which is the kind of the parent company of both VMware and Dell, there's examples across the portfolio of technologies working well together, and I think VxRail is a good example of that. It's what Dell have done extremely well. It's what VMware have done extremely well, and it's a stepping stone in that direction. So
but before we elaborate on VxRail, because that is a very interesting topic, you both have HCI in your title. Yep. Is that a coincidence?
No, not at all.
I focus on Benelux and sorry.
Well, so no, my business has 10 people like Remco. So there's Remco here, and there's another 9 guys across the Europe.
That's wrong. There is only one Remco.
Well, there is. So we have a guy in the Nordics called Marcus Nilsson, and he's about 6'5". And
he
then
plays
we had
rugby
Remco
as well.
And you guys and your listeners can't see Remco, but he's a rugby player.
I've always tried to be friends with Remco.
You have my phone number.
No, that's what I'm saying. He's just too big. But Remco, there is HCI in your title. You're running this business in the Benelux. VxRail is one of the solutions in this space, right?
Yeah. Now, I think the hyperconverged infrastructure is a platform which will run on commodity hardware. So this will run on any vendor, and you can do it all yourself. But there's also vSAN ready nodes. That means that you can buy a server which is actually fully tested and validated for vSAN, which brings a minimum risk. But the VxRail is a solution which is joint engineered between VMware and Dell. And that means actually we go to the next step. So the complete responsibility from patch management and all the things which actually still sometimes labor intensive is fully automated and gives you almost the cloud on premise. If you go to the cloud, the infrastructure is actually taken away, all the work you have to do with it. With VxRail, actually you get the same experience on premise, but still you have the control. You know exactly how much you pay on a month base or a year base, and a lot of customers like that and like to be in control, especially on the finance part of a cloud.
So we are a services company. We have a lot of customers who actually enjoy working in the data center. It sounds scary. So what happens? I buy this solution, and what do you have to do as an IT manager or an IT engineer or an IT architect?
How do you mean to have it on premise, or
is there still a job for me?
No, that definitely is a job. We always need people in IT. Actually, there's a shortage of people in IT. But what we like to actually achieve is that people are not looking anymore in manuals for hardware compatibility list when they install a patch, which is still a daily fact for most engineers. What we want actually that the engineers are making time available to talk to their internal customers and to be ahead on projects coming. But the fact is that most customers still get a project and are too late with getting things organized. And when actually we talk about software-defined data center, it means that everything is software. So it's much easier to automate it. And I mean, we started like in a period where it took months to do a project. And with standardization, we went to weeks. And today, actually, we can deliver in minutes. And that's what we do. And it means that the system engineer always will be there.
Yeah.
But he will be much more responsibility, and he will be much more talking to their customers and to make sure that infrastructure is ready to go when they needed it in the company.
Well, I agree. It's a much needed development to really focus on the business and the applications and make sure your data layer, your stack is actually working. But I can imagine that for a more old-fashioned IT guy, it could become like a risk or something like that.
I mean, I agree, and we meet customers like that all the time, and I think there will always be a place for customers who want to configure and to build and create, and that's fine. But I think we talk about modernizing the data center, and that's not just us as a vendor; it's many vendors talk about that. And I think the reason for that is that we now can. The technology exists to move past that as a day-to-day practice. And the businesses that recognize that will turn their IT shops and their IT operation into something that enables them to do more. We talk about keeping the lights on. So if your IT operation, if your basic thing when you get out of bed in the morning is to keep the lights on, then you're probably not helping your business innovate. And I think when we talk about the best of VMware and the best of Dell EMC coming together, we can provide platforms for businesses to innovate on. And the IT practitioners that recognize that, they're not only modernizing what they use, but they're modernizing themselves. So as an individual, I would be looking to, how can I innovate and transform my own support to the business rather than, doing what I've always done. Because, you only have to look around at the applications that we use on our phones today to see that it's a different world, a digital world out there.
Yeah, and you really have to prepare for it. Thank you for the first part. Really insightful. And in the second part, we'll drill a little bit deeper into the world of the future.
Want to grow your business and take it to the next level? Well, here we all are, and we're going to show you how through hard work, perseverance, and a little help and know-how, you can take things to the next level and push the success of your business even further. Let's get going.
Well, for the second part of our podcast, I really want to first start about the business. And when you engage a new customer, on what level do you engage with their business? Or are you primarily talking with the IT department?
So, I mean, I think it's fair to say that our objective as VMware is really to engage with a customer to understand their objectives as a business and their outcomes that they're seeking. I mean, I think traditionally as an infrastructure player, we're very proud of our heritage and talking to, IT practitioners. But I think the way that the business world has transformed digitally means that VMware can now command a seat at the table when we talk about digital innovation, application development, modernized data center, transforming the places that we work, because we've got, a long history now of delivering value into those kind of solutions. So we try to, engage with line of business leaders because historically we believe we can provide value to them.
Okay, and is that what you're seeing in the Benelux as well, Remco?
Yes, it's much wider. So when I started my career, we talked to the IT manager, the IT director, but now we see many companies are also developing software. So in the retail, it's quite normal. You have your physical stores, but at the same time, you have an online store. And companies which were traditional were just infrastructure focused are now suddenly a developing company, and they need like Kubernetes. They need to work with containers.
Yep.
And so the conversation we have totally changed. It's not just infrastructure. It really is about what is the business, what would you want to achieve, what are the goals. We have conversations with people who want to go to the stock exchange. I mean, really like they are developing and they want to do the next step, and we're helping them to make sure that everything is IT ready. But also when they are making an enormous growth, that the IT can actually grow with them. So it totally changed compared what we did 10 years ago.
What I found funny is that we're talking about digital transformation, And a couple of years ago, it was pretty hard to explain what it was all about. And I think we've found a way to explain what it is. And for our for our company, it's a way to digitize your primary business processes. That's what we're doing. And the cool part is that in the end, we're all IT companies. So companies like Nalta really have to change to make sure they have added value to every business in place, because companies will become software companies, because this tie into their business models just ever evolving.
No, I absolutely agree. And there's so many examples of, companies that have come from nowhere that now lead their field, whatever it is, if it's, hotels or, taxis or, whatever, they're now led by digital software companies who have completely broken and changed the original concept. And I think every company has to be aware of where they need to innovate. So if you're an airline or, how do you best serve the customer who's searching for the seat on a certain date on a certain route from a certain destination? And, you have to be ready to provide them the best service, using, all of the data that they have, and the airline that does that well will be profitable. And that's the opportunity, I think, for digital transformation.
Could you give an example, Remco or David, from a company you really helped with the portfolio of VMware to digitize?
Yeah, we have a great example. I cannot name the company, but...
What's the name of the company?
I cannot name it. No, but for example, in the Netherlands, we have a shortage of developers. I mean, it's really hard to find developers at a scale. And so with a certain company, what we actually did, we helped them automate their total infrastructure. So where normally a developer had to wait a few days before he was getting a virtual machine or a container, we automated it. So we have solutions where we actually now just prevent them a website, internal website, where they just can click, I want to have a Docker container, and within seconds they will get this container. So when now a developer is going for a job interview at this company, they actually can tell them, like, listen, this is what you're going to work with. We give you the best working space, and so you can develop. You don't have to worry about infrastructure. And this actually helps them to hire new developers and also to keep developers. So you see there's a lot of competition going on, also between our customers. And they use the modernized workspace actually more and more now to actually hire new people. So this is really what we did for them, and it's saved them money, but it also helped them to grow in the company and to hire new people.
And do you have an example as well, David?
Well, I don't want to be specific because, maybe we can't name all the customers we help, but I think across the public sector and into the large enterprise, large commercial and even small business, we have great examples of, the innovation that customers can go through. The example I was thinking of was in healthcare. It's probably,
we love healthcare.
Probably from my experience in the UK, where what's the objective of a clinician, of a doctor? Is it to be sitting behind a screen, or is it to be meeting with customers and patients and providing care? And I think when you look at the amount of hours that a clinician spends doing those things, can you rebalance it so they spend more time with patients by giving them, secure, effective mobile solutions that doesn't tie them to an office during their working hours? So it's things like that. That's again, it's not just VMware. We have a rich kind of bucket of technology, if you like, but it's partners like Dell EMC and partners like Nalta who will actually deliver that outcome. And I think it's the outcome that we're most interested in. And it's great to hear the stories that our partners are providing.
Are you asking a story now? Did I tell a story?
Okay, please. What value has Nalta driven? I want to hear the story. Tell me.
We're trying, or not even trying. It's Dutch guys say we're trying, and Americans said we're delivering added value. And especially in the IoT space, over the last 2 years, we got a great example in health about using IoT to deliver value to businesses and give patients and caretakers insights about is the patient in or out bed. Sounds easy, but it's a huge software stack that you have to build to make it right from a quality and scalability perspective. That's the case of Digital Angel. Talking about IoT, what's the relationship between IoT and VMware?
So, I mean, it's not my area of specialty, but I mean, I've spent lots of time with some of the guys at Dell who own the IoT practice, and I think the ability for VMware to innovate or help our customers innovate at the edge of IT operations is probably the opportunity there. So. If it's being able to remotely manage devices right out of the edge of a network, and for that workload or application to look and feel and act in the same way as an application in the cloud or indeed in the data center, I think that's VMware's relationship with IoT. We have to harness the opportunity and help our customers, again, secure and manage their workloads through that kind of technology.
Yeah. I thought the product for in the IoT space is named Pulse, right?
Yeah,
it's Pulse. Yeah. My guys who are in charge of the portfolio are talking Pulse. It's awesome. It seems to be awesome.
No, but
isn't Pulse a beer?
That could be one of my questions.
Have you got any pills?
2 pills for me, please. Remco, go ahead.
Sorry, I distracted you, Remco.
Pulse and pills, yeah, it sounds almost the same. No, but I think that the scalability, of course, which is the DNA of VMware. Like we started, of course, with virtualization of the machine, the server, and it goes all the way up to IoT. But I think the main message is like, if you really are a company which scales, or you're going to scale up really largely, like talk to us, because we have the platforms to actually do that. But without that, your your infrastructure gets more complicated. It doesn't matter. We can deliver the same. Actually, we talked today about hospitals. We can deliver the same technology to a small hospital for a small investment than we do to a universal hospital, which is really huge. We talk about 10,000s of employees. And that's, I think, the power now of VMware. Like, it's not that you need to be a multinational to get access to our technology. We can start small, and you can grow with your journey. And if you're larger, then of course you will benefit straight away. But to us, it's scalable technology from a small customer to an enterprise customer.
And I think it's important to share this message with our customers and potential customers. And that's the reason why we came up with May month. VMware month, May month, VMware month. We made a simpler version today, May month.
May month.
And that's the month of May we're going to use to educate our customers and everyone basically who is interested into the world of VMware. And we're going to talk about VxRail, and we're going to talk about NSX and vSAN and vSphere and the whole suite. You are part of the organization, Remco?
Yes.
Could you share some thoughts and why the listeners should attend this event?
No, I think what's quite unique is we have 4 events in 1 month. So every week we'll have an event, but it starts with the journey. So the first event will be on the 7th of May, where we actually explain more about VMware, what we do, our journey, together with Nalta, what we are doing at this stage and what it can mean for your company. Then we have another event where we actually talk about vSAN, the virtual storage invention, and network virtualization. Because basically we go to a complete software-defined data center where all infrastructure is virtualized. Then we have another event where we actually talk about VxRail. This is the joint engineered solution between VMware and Dell. And the last event...
It's going to be cool, right?
It's really cool. We have Duncan Epping coming over, but we talk about the future. Where are we going? Because we can already deliver all these technologies today, but what will be the next step? And we really talk about the future. We talk about Amazon. We're going to talk about where customers can go for the next 2 years, 3 years. And that should be really amazing. So for even customers who think they are already there, look into the website and really join one of the events, because it will be spectacular, and we have really top speakers coming over.
We'll share the link in the comments. To end this podcast, what's a big thing coming up, David, at VMware?
So, I mean, actually today, I mean, I don't know if I can say the date, it's the 16th of April today, but I mean, you'll probably go out in the future, but a big announcement that we're about to make, or that is now generally available, is what we call VMware Cloud Foundation, available on VxRail. So this is a big thing for me, for my business this year. And whilst that sounds like a lot of products and a lot of, IT jargon, what it actually means is, and I love the way that, at Dell Technologies and within VMware, every single piece of our vision is aligned. And what I mean by that is that, so VxRail as a solution is now delivering the VMware vision around hybrid cloud. And if you're a customer and you like the sound of that, then you want to get started, then obviously things like VxRail and Cloud Foundation as solutions themselves are coming together in a joint engineered thing. So that is available from today through Dell EMC and our partner and their partners. And we're going to spend the rest of this year kind of telling that story and realizing that value for our customers.
Cool. Remco, any final thoughts?
No, my final thought really is to customers who listen, really come over to the event. And for me, the software-defined data center is something we deliver today. And I really would like to invite customers to come over and really see what we can do and what it meant for them and for their business.
Thank you. So thank you for listening to our podcast. Thank you, David, and thank you, Remco, for your insights. It was pretty cool.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you for having us.
And please subscribe to our channel on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts, and watch our videos on YouTube. Thank you for listening, and see you, and you hear from us next time.